Pakistan is slated to go for polls on the 8th of February. But what's happening on the ground is very troubling. Over the past week, there have been bomb blasts and other violent episodes that have been reported in and around areas of Pakistan, especially near offices of the Election Commission of Pakistan. Just a few days back, the Election Commission of Pakistan was targeted in Karachi, and today the Election Commission of Pakistan's office has been reportedly attacked in Balochistan. In fact, the news came in yesterday. On the other hand, top opposition candidate and former Prime Minister Imran Khan has been jailed for the next decade at the very least. Even with Imran behind bars, his party candidates are not really safe. A PTI candidate by the name of Rehan Zeb Khan was gunned down in broad daylight on the 18th of January. Amidst all of this, terrorists like Hafiz Saeed, the mastermind of the Mumbai 26/11 attacks, who is currently serving a quote-unquote jail sentence according to official records, has reportedly launched a new party and nominated friends and relatives to contest Pakistan's elections. With all of this going on, the big question really is, how exactly will these elections in Pakistan turn out? Who really will emerge the winner? Who will be victorious? And who will be the next leader of Pakistan? I have with me Ambassador Sajjanar with us on the broadcast. We also have with us Sumit Peer. I also have with me Gautam Mukherjee and Joyita Basu with me as well. Let me begin with Ambassador Ashok Sajjanar, if I can. Ambassador Sajjanar, so much of political violence in Pakistan, this is not new, of course, but given the current circumstances where Imran Khan, the former Prime Minister, is behind bars, Nawaz Sharif has returned and somehow he finds all cases against him to have disappeared, vanished overnight. What really do you make of the current situation, and do you feel that some sort of an atmosphere has been created for a Nawaz Sharif to be brought back as leader, or are we looking at someone else entirely that we're missing right now? Ambassador, I'll just request you to unmute yourself, sir. We're not being able to hear you. Okay, we'll try to fix that connection with Ambassador Sajjanar. I'm going to request Gautam Mukherjee, if you can perhaps, we'd just like to test if our digital connection is fine. Gautam, if you could say something, and if I could take the same question with you.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, you were asking if I heard you right about the political violence in Pakistan and what it's going to lead to. Well, I think as far as Imran Khan's party and his surrogates, they are going to be kept out, that's for certain. One is legally, they've tied them up in knots, and whoever is backed by the PPP is also being kept out of it. So that is the way the Pakistani army wants to play it. In all probability, it will be an engineered process by which Nawaz Sharif is installed. That's what it looks like.
So you feel that all of this is being done to bring a Nawaz Sharif back to power?
Yeah, pretty much. Because first of all, he was exiled and they only brought him back in order to install him. He has considerable experience and as a consequence, he will fit right in. He has fallen afoul of the army himself in the past, been jailed, been exiled, had cases of corruption, everything against him.
Right.
But I think he is willing to compromise with all that. Plus, he's very keen on installing his daughter as his successor. I'm sure if he is chosen, he will probably appoint her in a senior ministerial capacity and lean on her quite a lot for the work that he does. And life will pretty much be as usual, with army using the political establishment as proxies.
Okay, all right. Ambassador Sajana, if we have you back, sir, if your audio connection is now working, I'd just like to, on the same thought, I'd like to understand from you, given the current context of Pakistan, where Imran Khan is facing case after case, PTI leaders are then being targeted. When we talk about the main parties of Pakistan, it's one, of course, the PMLN, which is led by Nawaz Sharif, was being formerly led by his brother Shahbaz Sharif. Then you have the PTI, where the former leader was Imran Khan. However, there are certain other leaders that are leading in his absence. And then, of course, the People's Party of Pakistan, the PPP, at the helm of which is Bilawal Bhutto. We see that against the chief of PTI, there are several cases. Imran Khan is behind bars, expected to stay behind bars and face further cases in Pakistan. So he is, in a way, out of the picture, but continues to hold a lot of popularity and has a big support base as well. The PPP workers are finding themselves to also be targets of grenade attacks and other bomb blasts in Pakistan. That leaves us with the last major party, which is the PMLN. Do you feel that Nawaz Sharif was in fact brought back from his exile to be put into power once again?
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So, what I was saying right at the beginning was that in any democracy, in any self-respecting, functioning democracy, it is not clear till the last minute, till the last vote is counted, to know as to who's going to be the winner and who's going to be form the government or whatever it is. But then this is a tall order as far as Pakistan is concerned. Neither it is, I think it is a mockery of a democracy, because what we are seeing today is an exact role reversal of what happened in 2018. At that time, it was Nawaz Sharif who was put behind bars, and Imran Khan was the one, the blue-eyed boy, the chosen boy of the army. And he was the one who was projected and made, without having much of a base otherwise. He was projected and brought up front and put in the position of power and authority. And exactly the reverse is being done this time. So, while there are going to be more than 60, 70 elections all over the world, I think if there is one election in the world that is the most predictable, I would say it is the election in Pakistan, which is going to happen on the 8th of February. And like it happened 5 years ago, that it was a selection of a prime minister rather than an election. This time also, this is going to be a selection. And from all indications, it does appear that it is going to be Nawaz Sharif. And of course, he's making statements. He was earlier also making statements against the then Army Chief Qamar Ahmad Bajwa. And right now also he's been talking against the army. But I think the army would be thinking that Nawaz Sharif would have learned his lesson after having been pushed out of power, pushed out of government, put behind bars, put in prison, and then sent out on exile out of the country, that he would have learned his lesson and he would know exactly how far he can possibly go as far as pushing back the army is concerned. So that he will be willing to do business, he would be willing to ensure that he does not step on their toes too much, and then he is able to work closely with them. Of course, last time he wanted to set the house in order as far as the relations with India are concerned. But what I see in the manifesto that he has come out, meaning it is really a red rag that he has shown, because one of the conditions that he has mentioned as far as improving relations with India is concerned is that Article 370 should be reinstated. And that is an impossible task to ask, and he should know better than anyone else. So let us see where it goes on the bilateral issues. But yes, to respond to your question, yes, it does look all indications are that it will be more or less a shoe-in for Nawaz Sharif, notwithstanding the fact that all the party members of Imran Khan are standing as independents. And
Right.
Imran Khan, by canvassing on AI and others, he's hoping that he'll be able to get some seats.
Okay, Sumit, bringing you into the conversation, why send a Nawaz Sharif away only to almost a decade or so later bring him back to power? Is there really nobody else in Pakistan for the army to install as a puppet prime minister?
Devika ji, thanks for having me on your show. In fact, you see, in Pakistan, it's a musical chair of power defined by militocracy. It's not a democracy. It's a militocracy. Military has written the rules of it. So anybody who has the experience of power, anybody who can get international zakat, anybody who understands politics a bit, and anybody who has very strong leverages to be used against him. For example, if you take Nawaz Sharif, his son-in-law is the biggest leverage army has. He wants to get his daughter to power, but son-in-law is the baggage. For Shahbaz, his son has a relatively clean image, so they will not want to play too much with him. Now, so, it's Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, his father gave the statement, my son is not ready. So Bilawal moves out of the picture. They have to get some kind of a puppet face, but who has some kind of a credibility. I mean, otherwise the options are weird. In a country like you have Afridi and you have Totla Miadad. You have so many beautiful options there. But the Shahbaz Sharif is more of an internationally, has some repute and all. So you get Nawaz Sharif into the picture, you keep him in the front, और पीछे दुकान चलती रहेगी. Asghari, Fauji Foundation and Shaheen. $106 billion of revenue and $18 billion of profit. They're all controlled by Fauj. So Fauj is controlling 1/3 of the GDP of Pakistan. They just need a figurehead in the, to keep in the forward. And if Imran Khan survives, that is, he's living and breathing, he will be kept as a leverage against Nawaz Sharif. And you will see one day we'll be talking that things have turned. Now Imran Khan is the new Messiah and he's the new Ghazi and he's going to replace the corrupt Nawaz Sharif. Or by the time if Bilawal becomes, quite okay or he's groomed up to a level, then he will be the new Messiah. Or by that time, maybe if they don't find anybody, then you will say finally Miadad is the best man or Afridi is the blue-eyed boy. So when they come to the parliament, everybody is given a stipulated amount of time. I'll want to take you to the recent conversation this Asim Munir had with the youth of Pakistan, youth convention so-called.
Yes.
One of the guys asked him, why do you change the governments? Why don't you let any government to, be there for 5 years? He said, look, you don't choose the government, you choose parliament. Now the formation of the parliament makes the government. If one formation is not working, another formation will come. Then the question was, what if that doesn't work also? What do you do? Then bola, hum hai na phir. So, the unelected of Pakistan are deciding how the elected of Pakistan will work and how far they will work. So, in our democracies we know, let's say BJP makes it to the power, it's a BJP. It can be Prime Minister Modi or somebody else. If it's a Congress, it can be Rahul Gandhi or somebody else. Here, military decides the combination of the MPs who are going to be in power. And if they are not able to perform, then Asim Munir ji will determine and find an alternative to the Pakistan. In a country where military is controlling 1/3 of the GDP and the maximum profitable organization than any corporate in the Pakistan, do you think they will let the power go? They will not let. They will get in a puppet, they will change in a puppet. Any puppet with a credible face and some kind of international recognition is what they choose. So Nawaz Sharif fits in the bill. Ab kab tak fit karta, God only knows. So when he will not fit in the bill, will have another set of puppets ready. So they will have option number 1 is Nawaz, option number 2 is Shahbaz, option number 3 Miadad, Afridi. Like this, they will have 4 or 5 people ready. Based on this equation, they will choose it. Everybody and anybody has to walk the talk. Nawaz Sharif is a very rich guy, by the way. He's a billionaire, but he has billions of dollars of scams for him. So a billionaire with $1 billion of scams is ideal for Pakistani politics because he will not want money from you, but he will siphon enough money from the system and will give it to you. That is how it works. When in case of Imran Khan, the inflow to the army was less. So they were not happy with his performance. Bola bhai, ye kaam ka nahi hai. Well, let's find some better guy who's more corrupt. Remember, Devika ji, Bajwa's wife, who was not even a taxpayer, in her one account, you find $600 million stashed in one account of Bajwa's wife. That is Pakistan. So what are we talking about? It's a musical chair of power. Munir will go, Qazi will come, Qazi will go, Niazi will come, whoever is the COS. Chief of the army determines who is in the power, and as long as he is in the power, because it's militocracy, the rules are written by them. They are the undeclared kings of Pakistan. Democracy, so this is for public consumption. What election? What election? Can you have an election in Balochistan? Can you have an election in Sindh? Can you have an election in KPK? You can't have. So where will the election happen? It will happen in Punjab. So it will be Punjabi Sunni Muslims voting for Punjabi Sunni Muslims, Punjabi Sunni army
Right.
choosing somebody. It's a land. Khatam. Ho gaya. It's as simple as that.
Okay, Joyita, your thoughts on the same. What do you think has triggered then a Pakistani army to bring Nawaz Sharif back from his exile to put him back in power?
When you look at it, as other panelists also mentioned, it's like a cycle. Whoever suits the army's interests at a particular point of time, that person is going to be in power. So, the reason why, say for example, Nawaz Sharif was removed because of, I think he had started showing some independence, he had extended a hand of friendship to India, and they thought at that particular point of time Imran Khan would be a better face, because he can, with his quote unquote westernized image, he will be able to interact and basically ensure the money comes from the Western institutions into Pakistan. So, that was one of the reasons why he was brought, but Imran Khan, being Imran Khan, although he is popular now, he was extremely unpopular at that point of time, and apart from that fact, he is an extremely bad administrator. Now, when the army saw that Imran was not working, in fact, the government was falling apart, and inflation, everything, Pakistan's economic situation was bad, Pakistan was getting bankrupt, although primarily because of the army. They wanted Imran out, and also you see Imran had started showing some signs of independence, saying that the military leaders should be answerable to the civilian government, and those were his cardinal sins. So, he had to be removed, and he was removed. Now, the thing is that we have to see what kind of a deal Nawaz Sharif has been able to cut with the military. So, depending on that, the victory margin for Nawaz Sharif will be decided, because if actually independent elections were allowed to be fought, what would have happened, because of Imran Khan's popularity currently with the youth population, which I think something around 40 or 44% of youth population Pakistan has. So, you see Imran Khan would have, in spite of his horrible track record, but because his government fell, there are other reasons of course. So, he would have possibly swept the elections. If you remember, sometime in 2022, after his government was removed, there was a provincial election in Punjab, and surprisingly Imran Khan's party PTI, they swept that election, and Nawaz Sharif's party was nowhere. So, but what they have done in these elections is that they have de-recognized Imran's party, as a result of which what has happened, they are not able, they have suspended their election symbol. As a result of which all his people are now fighting as independents, and even them who are fighting, they are being intimidated and all, because in spite of the rigging that the army will be doing with this election, in spite of that, they are worried that there is a surge on the ground for Imran, and people who know a lot of these Imran candidates may even win. Although there is a expectation also, it may not be a sweep for Nawaz Sharif, it may get hung, primarily because the push that is coming for Imran from the ground. So, if you ask me, it will be again, these will all be very temporary situations, and why Nawaz Sharif, again I am going to say, it all depends on what kind of a deal he has been able to cut. And the thing is that maybe the Pakistan army is still hoping that the kind of, the stability is missing in the government, maybe he will be able to bring back some stability.
Okay. All right, interesting perspective there. Ambassador Sajjanar, bringing you back into the conversation, sir. When we talk about bringing some stability back to Pakistan, do you feel that Nawaz Sharif is the man for that?
The choice that you have available, there's very few that you can sort of, pick and choose from. Because what the army would have thought in 2018, that Imran Khan is a person that they can manage, they can deal with, they can control. And unfortunately, he became, so to say, too big for his boots, because he became uncontrollable. He thought that his popularity with the masses, particularly with the youth, was so great that the army would also not be able to stop him. And this is what we saw when on the 9th of May last year we had all this ruckus and mayhem and attack on the cantonments, etc. And what Imran Khan would have thought that the army would not be able to take him and his supporters on, but of course he's been mistaken. Now, as far as the army is concerned, I agree with what the panelists have said, but I would also like to think that the army is really fighting with its back to the wall, because they also know that they don't have too much of a choice, and amongst the choice that is available to them, they feel that Nawaz Sharif is the best under the circumstances. Number one, he has experience. He has been in public life for a long time. Any of the others, if you were to look at, people like Javed Miadad or any of the others, they are just like Imran Khan. They are sort of big time icons who have been in the public space, but otherwise, as far as their experience in governance and in managing the economy, that is very suspect. That is non-existent or completely suspect. The other thing is that Nawaz Sharif, having been in the position of Prime Minister and also for so many times, he is well known internationally. He has a gravitas, he has a sobriety, he has a level of comfort and confidence with which he can conduct the foreign affairs, foreign policy as far as Pakistan is concerned with other countries. So I think he pulls much greater weight than any of the other candidates. So if there is, the army also finds that it has very few options, very few choices, they have to go in for him, then, it in that sense strengthens the hands of Nawaz Sharif, because after all, he was thrown out 5 years ago, and now the army is inviting him back in, which means that, the army feels that they also can't do without him under the current circumstances, because the country, not only the army, the country has its back to the wall, whether it is economy is concerned, whether it's politics is concerned, whether it is security issues are concerned. You look at the relations with Afghanistan, what they have plummeted. Look at the relations with Iran, how they have plummeted, notwithstanding the statements of fraternal brotherhood that these two countries and the two foreign ministers might be making. And of course, I don't need to amplify on the relations with India. Even with China, the relations are not very good, because the Chinese are not happy at the lack of security to the Chinese people who are working there. And also the fact that there are Uyghur separatists who are roaming around in Pakistan. So, all its neighbors, Pakistan does not have good relations. So it is really finding itself hemmed in and caged in from all sides: politics, economics, security, foreign policy, everywhere, even as far as the United States is concerned. Asim Munir, when he went there recently, he could hardly get a decent meeting. Only maybe he met in the Pentagon with Lloyd Austin.
Right.
But nowhere else. So I think they have the back to the wall.
Okay.
And army can see that Nawaz Sharif is the only choice that they can be a little safe and certain with.
Okay, all right. Sumit, I leave the last word with you. I just like to understand your perspective. Let's say Nawaz Sharif does come back to power this week in Pakistan. What does that mean for India-Pakistan relations?
I think there are two things here, Devgaji. First thing is, you need a billionaire with the corruption charges of billions to get billions for you. Now,
Yes.
billions from zakat, billions from IMF, billions from anywhere, and then he can distribute billions. You cannot have a chota mota banda do that, because the army chief now needs billions. Bajpa made millions, he has not made a lot of money. That's point number one. Point number two is that with Nawaz Sharif, it is being if you look at the Pakistan media, they're trying to spin a narrative that he has very good relations with Prime Minister Modi, is a good friend of Modi. What is he trying to do? He's saying, I will not normalize relations with you, let's start the trade. Because starting the trade is in the benefit of Pakistan. They are a dying economy, dying country. If we start any trade with them, even if we give them some residual trade, that is what they will help them sustain. And of course, they will have the terrorists they will be breeding. And the third point is, if you look at any terrorist organization in Pakistan today, everybody has a political party and everybody's candidates will be running for the elections. So how will candidates and with the terrorist organizations literally infiltrating the government, with Nawaz Sharif being used as a pawn and army needing the money? They need India trade, they don't need India relations. That is how the equation will look like. But I think our strategy is very clear: no terror, no talks, no trade, and that is what is going to end or reduce the shelf life of Nawaz Sharif substantially, because nobody today is willing to put money on Pakistan. There's no return on investment, even as a Nawaz Sharif. So it will buy them some time. By the time they find some other alternate, either the chief of army staff will change or the prime minister will change. We'll see who changes first. It's how it works in Pakistan.
Right, absolutely. I've completely run out of time, but I thank all of our panelists for joining us to take this discussion on Pakistan forward. Remember, the D-Day for Pakistan is the 8th of February, when the nation will hopefully democratically try to elect its next leader. But let's see what happens.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.